Snipers, you have to see what's happening in the Bitcoin price right now, as I just got access to our channel again and I wasn't able to post the video out in the last 3 days because our channel got hacked. And so now that we're finally back, thank you all on the Discord for helping out with this situation. I want to talk what's happening to Bitcoin because we have a lot to catch up with, Snipers. With Bitcoin back above 30,000 US dollars, we were expecting a potential relief rally as long as Bitcoin didn't breach below 28,000 US dollars. And you can see we maintained price action above 28,000, and now we are above our previous weekly open, which currently sits at 30,293, which is now the major range support level for Bitcoin. And our first upside target here is 34,788, showing confluence with this extremely important weekly resistance level that Bitcoin has rejected for the last 3 months since we came down from the 20-week moving average. It's not a surprise that that's showing confluence there at 34,788. And so it emphasizes the fact that 34,788 right now is the most important resistance level to assume that we do have a potential reversal here for Bitcoin to even see further upside above 35,000 US dollars. Because what the bears would say is that we may come up to test this resistance, but we may also get rejected to see further downside. But right now we have to stick with this bullish thesis because we are seeing the early signs of the rescue operation with Bitcoin not coming back down to the Luna lows. And just like we've been saying here on the Snipers channel, there is a strong case to make right now that Bitcoin has potentially bottomed after what happened to Luna because of the amount of psychological fear that put inside of the market. It's a place that we can look back on in the market and say 26,700 was the ultimate low for Bitcoin. That thesis is what we described here on the Snipers channel over the last 2 weeks. And now we're starting to see that come to fruition with Bitcoin still, in my opinion, more likely to test 34,788 before it's testing 25,000, if it will ever test 25,000, like what the bears are saying. And so it's very good to see that thesis coming to fruition, Snipers. And let's quickly wrap up this 4-dimensional analysis talking about some very important things happening in the traditional markets. The first thing is that the DXY is starting to see a relief coming down to test its 50-day moving average. But guess what? There is a case to make here that the DXY still has further downside to make, because look how bearish this weekly candle closed. It looks like the DXY actually wants to come further down, maybe to test levels below 100 to test its 20-week moving average, where it's already tested that level 4 times in the past. And it really loves to come and test this 20-week moving average, meaning that if the DXY has further downside, that could assume equity markets have further upside left. And now we're just waiting for the NASDAQ to get above its monthly open, because guess what? The S&P 500 right now is already above its monthly open, closing its daily candle today above the monthly open. The last puzzle piece that we need to flip bullish here is the NASDAQ getting above its monthly open, because so far it's closed its daily candle below the monthly open. And so maybe over the next few days, we do see a little bit of a relief. And I say that because the DXY could see a little bit of some upside here, at least because it's coming to test its 50-day moving average for the first time. But overall, it looks like the DXY wants to come down to test levels below 100, where we have the 20-week moving average. And the S&P 500 is already a leading indicator for the NASDAQ to potentially also get above its monthly open at some point. And then I do want to quickly address that there's a very strong indicator that we could watch here over the next few days, Snipers, that we'll certainly monitor here on the channel now that our daily updates are back. And that's the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart, giving us a gauge of how much fuel is left for Bitcoin for this upside move, and whether or not we're going to be seeing a continuation or potentially even a full-on reversal. And that's the fact that the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart broke 65,000 Satoshis, which was a very important support level that we've yet to come and test as a resistance. Right now, the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart sitting at 63,000 Satoshis assumes that maybe Bitcoin's upside move will continue until the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart could at least come to have a garden variety retest of 65,000 Satoshis. If we get above 65,000 Satoshis, we could even see a full-on reversal of the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart, giving confidence back to altcoins. And so that's going to be extremely important to monitor. And there's a lot to talk about because it's already been 3 days since I've had my last video. I've never missed a video like that. But once again, we had somebody accessed our account, unfortunately. So remember, snipers, never send your Bitcoin out to anyone, because you never know if that's an impersonator, if it's a real person. And so let's look at what's happening here to the Bitcoin to the SPY chart. We're back inside of this channel, and that tells us that we could have potentially formed a higher low here. If we break above this channel, there's a potential we could see a decorrelation from the equity markets. And so let's monitor the Bitcoin to SPY chart, but it's very nice to see it back inside of that channel. And then I'll wrap up with this. Right before Bitcoin moved back above 30,000 US dollars, it was still below 30,000, but Japan was up 2%. And Japan is the largest international market. And so this is why we call this channel a 4-dimensional channel, because we monitor all of these revolving parts. And so just keep Japan on your charts, because that could be a leading indicator in the future, just like it was for this recent move, that, okay, international markets are doing well, then equity markets in the US could potentially do well, leading Bitcoin to do well. And it's cool because Japan, you get almost like an early indication of that, since they're ahead of the US Open. And so anyways, thank you all for tuning into the Cypress channel today. I'm happy to be back with you guys. And it was unfortunate to see what happened to our channel, but we are getting things back in order. And I want to thank each and every one of you that helped out in that situation. And I appreciate all of you watching our channel. And I will get another video update out to you guys if we see anything important happen with Bitcoin. But there may be a little bit of a cool down before we get to 34,788, because the DXY is testing its 50-day moving average, but it doesn't look like it wants to stop there. It looks like it wants to see further downside of the 20-week moving average. The Ethereum to Bitcoin chart shows that there's more fuel in the tank for Bitcoin's upside move. So as long as we stay above 30,000, it keeps us above that previous weekly open. That's the range support. And then 34,788 is the current range resistance. And that's going to be the most important resistance for Bitcoin to face in the immediate short term to confirm further upside, because it also shows confluence with the outstanding overall macro resistance on the weekly chart. So thank you all once again, and I'll see you next time. Snipers.